Welcome back to the SummerAcademy, and now on topic 2.1.2, developers' best friend, Google, StackOverflow and some others. By the way, if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. Let's be open and honest, software development is a complex and creative business. And we all need help from time to time to give us some guidance, to give us some ideas, and maybe to clarify some stuff. Not only during debugging, also during development, but I think especially during debugging. So there is Google, there is StackOverflow as one of the major sources. There's also vendor documentation or topic-specific forums. Maybe one thing is important to know. We all need help, okay? So don't let somebody tell you that the fact that you are using searches or StackOverflow makes you a bad developer. We all do it. What actually makes you a better developer is knowing your tools. And finding help is actually one of these tools. There are some best practices that you can actually follow and that will help you to gain more out of your searches and obviously then what is coming up with it. So one of it is be as specific as possible, okay? Define your environment, and my example here says my environment is Node.js, I'm searching for an error, and then I copy pasted literally the error message directly in here. It's also helpful to have, if you have error numbers, copy paste the error numbers in here. So make sure to be as specific as possible. The more vague you are, the more noise you get in your search. Another thing is try synonyms. Different environments, different tribes have different language. So you have the Microsoft Windows development tribe, and they have their own way of formulating some things, having verbs and stuff. Same is true for Android, same is true for iOS, the Java world and stuff like that. They have different ways of, different terminologies, to put it this way. So one thing that you can get out of this is, number one, learn this terminology. Number two, especially in verbs, try to use synonyms sometimes. So hanging could be a freeze, it could be a crash, it could be a stick stuck, it could be inactive. So think about synonyms to broaden your search space. There's another opportunity that is quite nice, that is you can search in open source code bases. And Black Duck Open Hub is one of the ways to kind of search within open source to see how others use, for example, your API call and how they prepared the data before they handed it over to that API. And last but not least, a tip I like really much, especially when you're working with StackOverflow, is there are modifiers in StackOverflow, like has code colon 1 or colon true, or is answered colon 1 or colon true. Gives you questions that actually have code examples in them on the one side, or are answered and you find an answered question on the other side. So this is a nice modifier that you can use. Obviously it works in StackOverflow because StackOverflow is optimized for these kind of question answers in the developer community. What also makes you a better developer is treating this help not as a one-way street, but being actively part of it. Being part of it is twofold. On the one side you can ask questions, and on the other side you can answer questions. So if you ask questions, think SSCCE. Think short, self-contained, correct, maybe compilable in that regard, and example. So that it is easy to follow your problem, to rebuild your problem, and then also to come up with an answer that actually fits it. One thing that is important in my perspective is have good English, please. So take the second and run tools like Grammarly, for example, over your question, so that it's pleasant to read, it's easy to understand, and it actually makes sense what you're asking there. And remember, you're asking, you're not commanding. So be nice, and sometimes a thank you takes you far beyond the normal things. And it's a nice gesture when you're requesting somebody else to spend time on your problems. On the other side, you can answer questions, and this is something that is really nice because it drains your debugging skill. You learn to think also on different problem spaces and within different descriptions of problems. It's a nice way of not only gaining community credibility, but also training your abilities, your skills. And remember, whenever you see a question, we are all more newbies in more fields than we are experts in fields, and we all started somewhere. So there is no dumb question. If the question is below your dignity, just leave it alone. But sometimes it's really nice to help other people to get on the same level where you are. And sometimes it is really nice to be proactive in a way. So if you learn something, if you cracked a nut that you worked a lot upon, maybe you just want to share this without even waiting for the question to be asked. You just go into forums or into Stack Overflow and share the knowledge you have there for the benefit of others. So much on this short video on Google, Stack Overflow and others. I hope you stay with us when we go for the next part of it, which will be about IDEs, and it will be a bit of a personal, very emotional cry out. And not a lot of basic facts or something like this. Those you will find in the blog that we have as a companion to this course here. So make sure you go to deepcode.ai/blog and see what we have cooked up for you. See you!